Hello and welcome to another segment of 10 Days of Gratitude. I'm your host, Mia Saenz. And in this segment, sitting right next to me, is this handsome redhead, Dan Fowler. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's nice to have you here. So Dan has this institute called the Imagination Institute, and we're going to get to hear all about the amazing creative things. I've had some friends who was just at his event recently. I don't think I got to talk to you about that, Dan.
Oh,
My friend's the one that you invited me to. I had some friends that actually were there, and I was like, wow, I wish I had known. Maybe I would have been able to move stuff around even more. So I'm grateful you're here. So before we get into gratitude, let's talk a little bit about the Imagination Institute and what spurred you to create such an amazing thing in your life and in everybody else's.
well, it wasn't like I woke up one morning and go, "Ooh, I'm going to create this magical thing called the Imagination Institute." But it was years and years of just seeing how the industry and how the whole connection with the clients and connection through creativity, there was missing components, like there was gaps in the bridge, and I always wanted to be able to create the bridge that actually went all the way across to the other side. And with my background, I have a production company as well. I've been in media production for over 22 years, Red River Productions. And so being in that industry, I realized that a lot of people didn't have the skill sets in order to really tap into their own imagination and then be able to engineer it out powerfully, profitably in the world. So that's what I wanted to do. I was doing it effectively with my clients, and I figured out what my system was. And I also realized that I could replicate it and teach it as well. And that's kind of what was the cornerstone of the Imagination Institute.
Very cool. Very cool. And sometimes as we move along in our business world, the things do come very quickly. Like, oh my goodness, I need to create that. Excuse me, everybody. My alarm's going off. So, okay. So let's jump into, we know how and why, but talk a little bit more about what people can discover at the Imagination Institute.
Sure. Well, we base our teachings and our curriculum around a 6-step process. It's the 6 steps to manifest on demand in your business, relationships, and life. Yes. So when you understand these, we call them universal principles on flow, really this eccentric flow that can be applied to anything that goes along in this physical plane, whether it's your, like I said, business, relationships, or life. So when they explore that, there's curriculum, there's programs, there's events, there's retreats, there's live, experiences that we did. We just had one in a couple weeks ago at the end of October called Imagination IQ. Also help people with gamification in the sense of, especially entrepreneurs, how to gamify their content, how to gamify their live events if they're putting on live events, to be more interactive, to be more conducive to deep learning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful. So all of those pieces coming together to be able to really manifest the life that you're looking for, especially towards the business owner and entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. That's really important for a lot of people today because the average, or not the average, but corporate America, whether you're high up or whether you're just, hello, nice, welcome, nice to meet you, there's a lot of dissatisfaction in people's lives. And that also brings us to gratitude, but it's wonderful that you're doing it on a big scale because it really does help the masses.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We try to come into a place that's just not being activated in the marketplace right now. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of system strategies, tactics, and I love those. I love system strategies. They're the cornerstone of execution. However, we got to get the fuel for that execution to get right in line, in alignment. Because if it's not, you'll be garbage in and garbage out. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that you're not just throwing stuff in there just to get something out there. It's actually from your heart's desire, your soul's desire, and it creates that avenue for perpetual gratitude. And we're going to talk more about that too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, you know what? I want to talk about gratitude. So let's hop into it. What do you do in your life, in your personal life, not per se your business, because then we'll get there too, but what do you do in your personal life? Because I was like, when you told me when we were talking before, I was like, wow, okay, I like that. I really, really like that because I'm a big gratitude person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in my in my daily meditations, my morning meditation, my evening meditation, I have simple mantras that I use, and one is, how can I receive more? That's what I ask. So how can I receive more? And be a vessel for openness, but also being thankful at the same time, like, thank you for what I do have and what I have received, and how can I receive more? That's the end of the statement. So I always start with there, and I go into my silent meditation, excuse me, piece with that, and really just diving into, like, well, what's that thing, that avenue for me to receive more? And sometimes that's the capacity for more gratitude as well. I also have these milestones through the day. Like, there's these milestone moments that I kind of create in my schedule. I actually have it in my calendar. Like, it gives me a notification, like it's time for a gratitude milestone. So I actually
I have
do
that in
the.
mind.
Good, awesome. So I do that. It's twice a day. Usually it's right before lunch and then right before dinner. There's these gratitude milestone notifications that pop up, going, "Hey, time to stop what you're doing, really be present, and be grateful for the things that are happening right now in this moment. Not so much like let's transcend to the past, although that's appropriate. It's like what's happening right now. There's so many things to be grateful for right now." And then I also do milestones for the week, and then also for ones for the month too. That there's notifications that are kind of like recapping everything. So almost like I'm compiling. It's almost exponentially increasing capacity for gratitude as I do these milestones, because I'm recapping everything in the week, and then I'm recapping everything in the month. So it becomes its density, energetic density, is a whole lot bigger than just I need to be gratitude. I need to have gratitude now, or be grateful. It's a buildup, and then that actually creates momentum in your life, in your business, in your whatever. Yeah.
I love that. I don't want to say the word try because Yoda doesn't approve of that. But
That's right.
I do work on gratitude continuously, and that's something. You're one of the first people that'll actually say I set my alarm so that I don't miss because we get so busy, and I do the same thing too, and I love that because sometimes a lot of people know my alarms go off all the time. It's either 5 o'clock, it says dance, so that's for me to stop, get present, and turn the music on and just have movement, and then I've got my morning ritual and all that. So it's awesome. I'm so excited that I got to see this extra piece of you, because it's really, when we walk our talk and we do what we do, our life changes. It's really very, very important.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's not just a principle that's a good idea. It's something that should be ingrained in the psyche of our being, our DNA. And that actually, when you start changing the DNA, that's when you start changing the outward symptoms, the outward look and feel, and your perception of everything.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Wonderful. Now, how do you bring gratitude? Do you into the workplace or into your teachings? I know into the workplace you do, but into your teachings. Do you teach gratitude at all in your work?
Sure. I think
because manifestation, you have to have something there.
Yeah, gratitude. I think gratitude and clear intention actually go hand in hand. They're essentially connected, and without clear gratitude and momentum behind that gratitude engine, if you will, your intentions will be either surface level or not clear. And so, and if you don't have those intentions clear, you won't have a strong energy output, leading into all the attraction pieces that come into manifestation to finally manifest the things you intend to create. So yes, gratitude is definitely a big piece to clarity of mind. When you have gratitude, and I do say this, you are gratitude. I slipped because I didn't mean to say that, but I actually did. So you are gratitude. When you become gratitude, you're not just grateful, you become gratitude, then things will actually start changing on a monumental level. Your intentions will become so powerful that the things you intend to create will come faster than you're anticipating, even for the master manifestor out there, right? And so those two pieces must go together, or you're just making intentions either from the ego or just from a thought. That's a great place to start. However, if you want to go deeper and have things on demand, as we teach, you must have the gratitude piece.
Thank you for saying that. That's
Yes.
awesome. More people need to teach it this way. They don't, and I've given talks about this. People don't understand that manifestation, one, it's our absolute birthright. It's already there, but it's getting to the point where we see it so that it comes into our life. And the two pieces that you brought together is absolutely how we do it. And those who just rely on the law of attraction, that's a different type of vibration than when we get in for manifestation. And when we want our life to change, I love how you said that. It's different to be gratitude than it is to have gratitude. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because there's people watching this who are new to all this and gratitude and go, gosh, okay, so how can I actually be it and live it in my life? Isn't that just something that I feel on occasion?
Yeah, good question. Well, it's a choice if you want to feel it on occasion. You can feel it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first thing, and I guess it's removing the limitations to gratitude, because we already have this preconceived limitation boundaries that gratitude is this, and a lot of them are fallacies. So we have to remove the limitations for gratitude. It's like it's infinite. It can be infinite. And in allowing that to work, that magic of infinite within a finite system, which we call our bodies and our lives and such, there's both. I mean, there's infinite and finite, and they work together. They're not mutually exclusive, so they work together.
Mm-hmm.
And so gratitude, opening that up in the sense of gratitude can happen at any time. Therefore, if it's happening at any time, it can happen at all times. And therefore, I'm part of all time. Therefore, I'm part of all gratitude. And when I understand that perspective of I am gratitude, therefore, I'm going to, everything I touch becomes a grateful component to my existence and to the other grateful components around. And maybe a reminder to myself as well as to others about how connected we truly are, not just through the energy of love, but also through the energy of this gratitude. And it's just gratitude is a different, I guess, a different strata of love. That's how I see it. So when I would say to people like, well, how do I become that? It's like, for me, I just put that in my mantras. When I was first transitioning this, because I was very analytical, came from, engineering background, very good at math and all these things, like has to be straight laced. And like, well, how do I become something that I always thought was a feeling, and I had tough things with feelings? I thought, well, maybe it's not a feeling. Let me just, yes, the end result is a feeling that I have, but gratitude itself is not. Gratitude is a state of mind, or state of being, if you will. And so if I can set myself in the place that I am gratitude, and that became my I am statement for a while, that I am gratitude. And I'm going to bring gratitude wherever I go, because that's me. I'm going to emanate that. And I'm going to infect, I'm going to use that word, but I'm going to infect people, places, and things with my gratitude. And when that happens, then chain reactions start to happen. And then I started to see the math behind it, and the chemical the universal flow of things. Like, I affect the things around me. And if I am skeptical, then the people I attract and people I come into contact with will be even more skeptical because they met me. And if I'm gratitude and I come into the place of gratefulness and love, then they are actually going to get, it's going to be a little contagious. They're going to become more grateful along those lines because they have come in contact with me. So I came back and I said, well, what kind of change do I want to make in the world? Pretty simple. Do I want to walk into a place where people are more skeptical of me and my work, what I do, who I am? Or do I want them to be more grateful, curious, and loving towards me, my work, and who I am? I thought, well, I have to bring it first in order to get it. And so it's that, the like attract like.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to those people.
And it becomes very simple, becomes very easy, becomes second nature when we practice it, because practice makes perfect. Just like your 2 times a day, 3 times a day, it's simple. It's like, okay, thank you for the reminder. I'm going to stop working for a moment. And then you go right into that place because you know what it feels like. You've been there many times.
Well, it's that word expansion. We use it a lot in our industry, but people want expansion without doing the work to get to the point of capacity. you can't expand unless you have capacity expansion. You can't expand the volume unless you can increase the capacity. Or going to the gym. I can't lift, I can't do a dumbbell of a 100-pound dumbbell unless I go through 25 and then 50 and work that up to be able to easily do 100 at the same reps. It's the same thing. You're building the capacity and the strength to be able to receive more, And that's really where it comes back to my mantra in the beginning. That's what my mantra is in the morning, every morning. Why am I where I am? That's the question I ask. Why am I where I am? And how can I receive more? And I can't receive more unless I am doing the work. Got to do the work, build the capacity. And when I've built the capacity, now I can fill it with the expansion.
Yeah. Awesome. It's really awesome stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic. It blows my mind still. It's still to this day. It just blows my mind. Like, wow. Well, I wish I had done this, been in this practice and done the work, 15 years ago, but it was meant to be now. I get it now. So I want to make sure people realize that they can do it too. This is not just something that only a select few. We're all destined and have the birthright, as you mentioned, to be able to do this and do it on demand.
How has this changed your life? From the person you were before to the person you are today, how does that look for people looking into your little life, into your experience here? I didn't mean it like into your little life, but, we're like movie clips. We each have.
Hey, I'm 6'7", so my life's a little bit big. Has to be a little bit
That's
bigger.
right. Has to be a little bit bigger than the one who's 5'4".
Right, exactly. Well, that's a great question because I used anger. Anger was a big thing in me. It was just
Before, right?
Before, yeah. No, this was anger was just a thing that I thought that was a modus operandi. That was a default setting through many other programs, and of course, I take responsibility in that as well. And so my overt actions from anger led to lots of trouble, and I didn't realize that I was, destroying the foundation around me. I thought that's just the way you acted. That's what normal people do. However, once I realized about the gratitude piece, I wasn't grateful for anything. The anger was just consuming me. I was angry about most things. Had a temper, lashed out, all those typical things that a redhead would be stereotype, right? And I thought this has got to change. There were some key moments in my life that just put a brick wall in front of my face, and I'm like, wow, anger is not going to blast through that. It's going to destroy me in the process. And I finally kind of woke up to that reality, that truth. I didn't know exactly what to do from there, but I started being more present and just slowing down. That was the first thing for me, slowing down and realizing that I can change the way I perceive things. And by doing so and acting in those things, by doing so, it affects the people who respond back, the fight, the whatever it is. I was like, well, let's see, let's go the distance. I'm a science guy. Let's test this all the way out. And almost by accident, almost like testing it to see if it would fail, would be, let's be just grateful about everything. Like over the top, I'm going to be vocal and all over the place. I love this person. I love. I'm open. I'm grateful. And lo and behold, just even doing that changed the way in which people started to connect with me. And I thought, there's something to this. And it took years. It wasn't like over time. I had to start slowly building my capacity, realizing that this was the regiment for me. The exercise, the spiritual exercise regiment for me was this gratitude track. And lo and behold, it shifted me and changed me in a way that it was no longer now Dan doing an experiment. It was the experiment has become Dan. I became that. So I completely transformed. I mean, literally 180, just flip around. And my friends that were my friends then, they have all gone away. I'm no longer that person. I shed that skin and I'm gone. And I'm continuing to shed the skin and moving on. And there's always an evolution, a process there. So changing the life for me, gosh, I can never go back. That's pretty sure. Once you are grateful and you truly grasp onto it, you can never go back to being ungrateful. It's just not going to be part of my existence anymore. And ultimately, it's brought success in business, relationships, and in life, that too, because now I'm bringing in the types of energies and people that draw in the things I intend to create. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's really, you painted this picture, this guy who's 6'7", who was angry, and you brought in the redhead part. You're so funny. You paint this incredible picture. We see this giant Scotsman who, they pick up trees and telephone poles and they throw them across to see how far they can.
True.
That's like a warrior or a Viking type thing. So,
and I am Viking actually. I'm Norwegian, so it's like, yeah,
okay.
I'm like on the Viking end of side of things. So yes, the raping and the pillaging thing that was there, and I got rid of that, and now I'm just using my longboat to go and explore and spread the news of gratitude instead of all the other stuff.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, we're going to get back to more gratitude, but you have a gift that I know we're going to be talking about gratitude, tools and stuff. So will you share with us the gift that you're going to give to everyone? Because it's really cool and it's very much a gratitude gift.
Absolutely. And I love that you use the word birthright. I use that word too a lot. And so I'm very into the royal kind of mindset. And so I have this program. It's called Dan's Decrees. And it's a 52-week program. And it is a video affirmation. So every single week you're going to get an affirmation with me, something to grab onto, think about, tweak perception about, to be able to jump more into gratitude, more into imagination, more into being able to manifest the life you're looking for. And it gives every single week. Every week you're going to get a new video from me talking right to you. And
that's awesome.
That's for the whole year.
That's awesome. That's really powerful. I have to have another drink of my cleanse here. Sorry, guys. So these are videos. Now, are you talking about mantras as well? Because you're a mantra dude.
Yeah, sometimes it won't be for every single video, but a lot of the times there's these things that I get from source that my intuition is more clairsentient when I see words, I hear words, mm-hmm. and then those words I incorporate into sentences or sayings or something that let's say the common folk can understand. I mean, people like me, people like you can go, oh, I get that, but it's a little different than probably what you've heard, around floating around the memes and that type of stuff.
Right, on social media.
Yeah, right. So there's some mantras in there that I will suggest. At the end of every video, though, I give a kind of like a homework assignment. So if you want to activate this piece of information, these are some things to do through the rest of the week. Boom, boom, boom. And I give you at least 3 bullet points to do. Some of the videos actually have PDF downloads as well that go with them. Nice. That you can use it as a worksheet that require a little more activity through the week, and some do not. But it all depends on what the topic is that comes in through the week.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And that was a lot of work to put together. So that's really awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So gratitude can also increase, which is manifestation, can increase our love, our money, our joy. Those people, or those of us who seek gratitude, generally seek it for healing to begin with. But what about just seeking it to seek it, right? I mean, we do get into that space as we start to grow. But for those who are just starting out, what about seeking it for just seeking it? What does that look like to you if somebody came to you, Dan, and said, I heard somebody talk, or I heard you and Mia talking about seeking gratitude just to see what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'll have to tell you a story on this one. When I was growing up, I grew up in a very strict, fundamental Christian background, even borderline cult. And we didn't live in the commune or anything like that. But the concept of love was very doctrinalized and very just, here's what it is. It's in a box. Here's love.
Mm.
And anything that went against the fundamental view, or any other kind of denominations or anything like that, a Christian, even within the Christian faith, was deemed, inappropriate, not right, whatever. Well, my grandmother, where I get the red hair from, actually, she was a Pentecostal. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that are, a little more vibrant in their worship. Some of them speak in tongues, that type of thing. And my parents banned her from seeing us kids because of it. Mm. And so for 20 years, I didn't see my grandmother in this process. And I realized that when I got older that all of my views about Pentecostals and any other thing out there that was deemed wrong was only from my parents and from that upbringing. And so I thought, well, I can't make a judgment on something, or shouldn't make a judgment on something that I haven't personally experienced. So I decided I'm going to go join a Pentecostal church, and I did so for 6 months just to experience it, because I never did. And so I experienced that, realized it wasn't the tradition I wanted to go through. However, I have great appreciation for what they are doing there. Those people can worship, that's for darn sure. Mm-hmm. And so I stepped back and I had made my own realization and judgment, because I tried to just because. And the thing is, most people, it's not just because, it's because most people have a judgment against gratitude. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not going to do anything. Or that's hooey, that's woo-woo, that's whatever. And so, but they don't know themselves because they've never tried it out yet. Mm-hmm. So I would highly recommend you to expand that container, get the capacity up, find out if gratitude is for you. And be very just analytical. I won't tell you that it is or not. I believe it is for me, and I believe it is universal. However, I'm not going to impose that upon you. I would just say go into it with an open mind and say, is this for me or is it not? Is gratitude the way to go for me or is it not? I'm going to experience it fully for a certain length of time and see what happens. Do I change? Do others change? Does my situation improve? Does it not improve? Mm-hmm. Whatever. Be very scientific about it, and I will be glad to hear people come back and say, Dan or Mia, this is what happened. And I can probably guarantee you that no one's going to come and say, man, that gratitude sucks.
Let's hope not.
No, I can pretty much guarantee that if you do exactly what I just said. So that's what I would say. Give it a whirl, because your universe is only as big as your perception of it. So experience things that you have not yet experienced, even though it's a little scary for you because you're not used to it. Do it and see if it's right for you.
That's awesome. Are there some simple gratitude tools that you have used, you're aware of, you recommend to friends, family?
Yeah, and gratitude starts from a place of self-worth, actually. And so gratitude, when we talk about the attitude of gratitude, it is really just an attitude of great. Mm-hmm. And it starts with me, that I have an attitude that I am great. Mm-hmm. And people go, ooh, well, that's egotistical. It's like, no, it's actually not. It's because that's why you can't connect with other things. That's why you can't connect with love or relationships or your business, is because the people that you're trying to connect with are perceiving from you that you think you suck. Mm-hmm. You think you are not great. You do not have an attitude of greatness, grateful. Mm-hmm. I am great. And therefore you cannot, if you don't have that on yourself, there's no way you can send that out into the world of like, that's great, that's great, that's great, that's great. That's gratitude. Mm-hmm. I am so thankful for all the greatness around me, including myself. So I start there. It's really about getting into the attitude of greatness, the birthright you mentioned, about royalty, the royal inheritance that we all have. We are the firstborn of the universe and have an endowment with skills, gifts, talents, etc. that make us great. And I start there. In my book, too, Rewrite Your Story, Reshape Your Life, there's many exercises in there regarding the endowment and the universal royal inheritance that we all have. And we tend to gloss over that and look on the outside and try to find those, where is gratitude and where is love? And it starts, here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Really wonderful. And when you said at the end there, when you said that about your book and about coming from this place, some people don't understand that it really is a connection to the divine love, divine source, creator, God. Those are all the same words. We just approach them differently, you know. And for some people, it's Allah, it's Buddha, it's, you know, but the energy is the same. God is God, whether you want to call him, hey dude, or whether you want to say, you know, Father, you know, I'm coming to you because I really need some support, some guidance here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And really, we learn that we find that from within. So I love how you brought up, Dan, that that we have to get our self-worth, that we have to get ourselves, you know, I'm the self-love teacher, or I'm a self-love teacher. And so it's all about that. It's all about connecting and finding your value, because if you don't have your value and your worthiness in place, how can you bring in this stuff? Because you're not going to feel worthy to accept it into your, I don't want to get woo-woo there, into your life, but into your experience. And really, something that you said that is really important for people to understand who are new to gratitude, it totally boosts your love. It totally boosts your awareness in business and your financial ability to bring in, because you're really opening up, you're expanding to something that you've never had before.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, most people would, if I ask people, would you like to be appreciated in the work that you do? Whether it's in the home, whether it's in relationship, whether in business, hands down, everybody says, well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You will, and I'll say this, it's going to be hard to hear, but you will never be appreciated unless you can be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. You won't be appreciated. It'll always be something like you feel that somebody's trying to take something from you, or you feel like somebody's holding something back from you,
Mm-hmm.
because of the lack of gratitude, because you don't feel great already. You emanate greatness. People are going to just say and affirm you. Wow, you're great. You're awesome, man. What you got going on is awesome, man. I want to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how it rolls.
Yeah.
So change where the source comes from, change that perception, change that ability, that energy output, and watch how the dominoes start to fall.
Mm-hmm. You also said one thing that made me go, we got to talk about that, and that is when we do change like this, we're changing the belief system that was layered upon us that isn't even our own garbage, you know, that's from churches, society, whatever. So when you get past all that and you're willing to to let that all go, what's left is the greatness of who you are. And so it's really awesome.
Well, it becomes it's all the scar tissue, and it's all the layers of quote unquote protection that actually are now holding you captive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ego part, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but it becomes these layers that were supposed to protect you from the outside world, but now it's encased you in a place that makes you immovable. And when you're immovable, you become static, and anything in the universe that's static ultimately dies. And that could be, you know, your spirit as well. And you need to break through that and start reactivating that human spirit to be able to activate gratitude, love, and of course the manifest. I mean, we go online. Yeah.
It's awesome. Thank you, Dan, so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And everyone, activate your gratitude. I love that when you just said that. It's awesome. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in another segment. Bye.